So am I audible? Anyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My screen is visible.
Yes,
Yeah, I
sir.
Yes,
think
sir.
it's visible.
Yes, sir.
So let's start. Today we'll discuss something about myths of software industry, which we haven't discussed in detail, along with the malpractices and what are the software errors, system security, or the type of security problems which we face because of this kind of so many commands which we write, like data definition. Whenever you create a table, what are the errors, security, the developers can face the problems. Before going to that, we must discuss something about the software myths. Then we will discuss the principles of software engineering. So more or less, let me see, some people is trying to join. Not all of you are trying to join from, I think, Amity email ID. So that's why I have to, and many students are joining from time to time. That's why I have to allow them. Just be in the meeting. I will start sharing the, no, screen already shared, I think, yeah.
Yes, sir.
But somebody is in the lobby. Some are unverified. Anyway, so the software myth, what are the software myths? So myth is nothing but your belief and habit, where people discuss something before going into the main software development. It can be myths about design, myths about software management, or if anytime you feel you can't listen to my voice, just interrupt me and tell me. Or if you can't see the screen, so myths about software quality, myths about software development, there are so many myths. So generally most of the beliefs are like this. What are the common beliefs? That ability to lead, you must have the ability to lead if you are a good software engineer. You must have critical thinking skills if you are a good software engineer, or if you have to become. You must have a depth of expertise if you are a good software engineer. You must have a continuous learning. You must have a good business knowledge, good business savvy. You must have good time management skills. Apart from that, there are many other. Wait, is it recording? Can't see properly. Wait, I think it's recording. Yes, stop recording option is there. That means it is going on. Because after this
Sir,
recording,
it is recording. It is recording.
yeah, yeah. So attendance also automatically will be generated in Excel sheet. I will that share you after this class so that everybody can see. You don't have to give present separately. So this is a good thing in this software. So that means, like I was saying, in software engineer or software methodology, in software model, which you can say that there are so many myths are there. That before going into the real development, you must have the ability to lead. You must have critical thinking skills. You must have time management skills. You must have deep expertise. You must have continuous learning skills. You are a good business manager. But this is actually not so. We must have good communication. Without this also you can go into the software development. Let's see some other examples. There are some other myths, like there are customer myths, there are management myths. Now each myth is divided into, there are various categories. For example, one myth is that agile means no documentation, no contract. But the fact is that the right agile tool provides a single source for all documentation and contract. So people think that you do not need any documentation or contract in agile methodology because it is too much flexible. You don't need to keep documentation like waterfall model or spiral model, too many documentation, too many contracts, and keeping track of every framework, every people. It is a very hectic thing earlier, but for agile we don't need to do that. But it is not so. It is also right now also documentation there, earlier also there, but you can say right now it is much more flexible. Somebody is sending WhatsApp. Please don't send anything in WhatsApp. Like I said, you can directly ask here. You can interrupt me if you have any doubt. You don't even have to raise your hand. Directly ask. Any doubt is there. Surjokanto, wait. Yeah. Excel is the best tool for Agile. Somebody think. But it is not so actually. There are many things out there. Agile can't be used for large enterprises. but it is not so. Agile can be used for large enterprises, for large applications. Similarly, if I tell you the common example, one of the things is, if you see here, myths about process and management. What are the myth is that? Common myth, which generally comes to everybody's mind. Software development is a predictable linear process. People think that software development, when we do, it is actually we have to start from scratch. Many people ask this question, sir, I'm a software developer, then I think we have to write from scratch the designing, write from scratch about the requirement planning. We have to start from scratch about the documentation part, and the most important part is coding. We have to start from scratch about the algorithms and coding, then implementation of the algorithm from the, you can say, using creation of small prototypes, then that prototypes into small modules. So people think that it is a very vast, lengthy process, a linear process, especially the linear process, which is not predictable, which is very much not predictable actually, but it is not so actually. Why is that? Software development, the reality is that software development is inherently complex and iterative, not a rigid. It is not a rigid step-by-step flow. When you go to real development, you will find that most of the things are already there. Your software is in front of your plate actually. That means the computer where you are working, your software is already developed, but still you are developing. That is the real scenario. That means maybe you are doing some changes in the coding, maybe you are doing some testing, maybe you are doing some part of a methodology, maybe you are not creating a methodology or framework. You are using Python, let's say, you are using ASP.NET, you are using PHP, or whatever it is already written. Most of the course now it is software development. Now you have to just apply your logic. Companies are hiring you to, most of the companies actually, I can't name every company, most of the company, they want your logic, they want quality over quantity. That's why if you go to any placement or any company, let me check again in the lobby. No one is there, but still many of you have not joined. How many are there? 38. Okay. So when you go to any software company, in the placement, they will give some question, especially from this kind of, like, I have already opened a front end, back end, full stack technologies, front end, back end, server side, database. They will simply give you that we want this front end, we want either say Node.js, we want either React.js, or we want either Python, and databases, let's say MySQL, Microsoft SQL, sorry, PostgreSQL, PHP, MyAdmin, or you can say SQL Server, Mongo database, any database it can be. So there they just give you two questions. One, from database, you have to create a query, how you can apply the logic that multiple tables are there, how you can get the tables from multiple, let's say multiple tables are there. Now you want exactly this field from those tables, how you can write the query. That means they have everything in the database. As a developer or as a database administrator, whatever you are going, how much logic is your flexible, so that you are not creating any complexity into the system. And accordingly, you can, if you want, you can change the codes, change certain parts of the code. You can write some new encapsulation methods, you can write some new polymorphism methods or algorithm, different forms. So that means people think it is a predictable linear process. It is not so. You must have a good logic, you must have a good iterative approach where you can apply some changes, not a rigid but a step-by-step flow. It must be step by step. Definitely it is step by step for that particular part only, not the complete software. Next myth: adding more programmers can fix a schedule delay. That means if you think that let's hire so many developers, let's hire many programmers, it will solve your complex problem, but it is not so. I have already told in the class also. The reality is that adding more people can actually slow down a project. Adding more people can actually slow down a project. due to increased communication and to team coordination challenges. For example, if I am taking a class of BCA, in your class, let's say 60 students are there. How many still join? 39. Let's say 60 students are there. And in other class, I'm taking 10 students are there. So which one will be more complex to manage? Because 60 students are there. No doubt. When people are more, people have lots of query, people have their own ideas, people have their own belief and habit. Maybe some out of 60, maybe all 60 are good, maybe some are very good, some are average. So those who are very good, let's say, I find that 15 people are very good, excellent. Now 15 people will try to impose their belief into the system, I mean into the company. Sir, implement this, implement that. With this way we can do this. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's good. So here is that now many people have their own belief and habit. So that will increase the complexity, especially the coordination. Everybody will say that maybe in the same algorithm or may not be, maybe the same idea may not be. So that increases the complexity from management point of view, especially in implementation part. How exactly you are going to implement, that is the main thing. So adding more programmers, or sometimes it is required, but not always. You may have 2 developer, maybe 5 developer, but if that solve the problem, that's sufficient. So it is actually slow down a project. That's the main problem. And difficulty in communication and coordination. Next myth. This question I'm teaching because I will give this question in internal too. That's why I'm showing with presentation this time. I'm showing from Google because it shows the dynamic current trend examples. That's why I'm showing the examples directly from here. Next myth is that big upfront requirements gathering saves cost. That means, suppose if you have software, changes are most costly later in the process. So gathering requirement upfront doesn't always save money. This meaning is that suppose if you have a good requirement analysis, and if you think that initially before going into the actual development, we must gather as much information as possible regarding the coding part, organization, team management, testing, whatever is there. Now, if you go into the direct analysis rather than implementation, it will actually a myth. You can't do that. Without knowing much, you have to go into that project directly. You must have a minimum plan, minimum feasibility study, minimum development idea. On that only you have to study. Because every software company, right now, let's say Facebook is developed already, like I was saying. Initially, when it was not discovered, imagine that time people didn't know that so many features you will get, like WhatsApp. Right now in WhatsApp, you can payment also there. Initially, it was just created using some kind of small model. I think you know the model, just for plain text. Right now, you see after improvement, upgradation, so many features are added. Similarly, you have every new software are full of challenges only. Until the day it is developed, people will face a problem. But when it is developed, you will find that everybody is saying it's so easy. That everybody said. But before that, you can't go into too much of analysis. You must have a predictable analysis. So gathering requirement upfront, it is not always. Your target is to save money actually in this software development, but it is not always true. Even with the small requirement analysis also, it can create problem, it may not create problem. The solution is that you have to go into the software development with minimum kind of requirement analysis which you have currently, technology, whatever you can do, you can just start with that. Otherwise it can be misunderstood, or later leads to loss of something, or you have to change something. Next myth. See, some of you are saying, I've read some comments that I think in Amazon that sir is not giving notes, or if some teacher is giving notes in some class but not here. Because thing is that I don't want to be a spoon feeding kind of thing, that I will give notes, you study and come. I will give notes. I want to be a technically efficient man, technically efficient person, so that if you study some other subjects also, you can link software engineering with that subject, go to the real life thing. so that at the end, when you pass out, you get the real fruits of that. Of course, I will give notes. Don't worry. Your main exam is not right now, and in your group, I will give notes. But don't just think that I is giving not giving notes doesn't mean that you have to study from yourself. Like I said, you just write the to the point topics which you are studying day to day. And detailed notes I will give. Maybe I will dictate in class also. In next classes, you will find I will give so many notes in class itself. Topics are like what is the uh, ethical responsibility of a developer? What are the real life challenges a software developer face? These are theory topics in module 2. So come prepared with your copy. So I will try to give as much note as possible in the class itself. Remaining notes I will give as a PDF and PPT. And before the semester exam, we will find all the notes because I was reading those comments in the Amazon. So you can talk to me if you have any problem. Some of the students really need good notes or anything. You can talk to me. I will accordingly give special notes and create accordingly to you. For that, you have to talk with me. You can't come to class late sometime and just comment. So I hope you understood the point. Those who have written that. So big upfront requirements gather saving. This point is I have discussed. I think right now. Requirement analysis. Yeah. Next point is project management is not a core part of software development. This is a myth actually. So project management has to be a core part of software development. Why? Reality is that effective project management is crucial for successful planning, execution, and delivery of software projects. Now, you think you are a software developer doesn't mean you have to deal with only coding part. Management has a huge role to play. Management means here you will find that many non-technical people are there who doesn't know about coding. They are your manager. It may be possible. You may think why? Because you see the revenue which comes for your project, it comes from the customer. Revenue means the money, etc. So for that, the management takes the project. Management know which customer is what kind of, and at the end what is the customer reaction after the delivery of the project. So they can realize that much better. So accordingly, they take the project and they collaborate with you, that development team. So that's why project management people have a huge role to play. You will be independent coding, doing independent coder freelance, that is separate. But when you're in an organization, you have to deal with most of the people of higher management, which maybe they have no direct involvement with software, but they know the output, they know the end user, they know the output of the product, they know the what user wants. So that has something to do with successful planning, so that your code development members who are doing the coding, they can do the planning part, how to execute it, and finally delivery. It is something like this. Suppose you are ordering something from Zomato or you're ordering from Swiggy, you'll find through Swiggy or Zomato, I'm ordering food. There are so many restaurants out there. For example, Arsalan, Dadabudi restaurant, what can I say? Asifbad Biryani. There are any question? Anyone? Okay. So there are so many restaurants, but you are ordering through Zomato. So you are using the server of Zomato. Now, what happens actually? You are paying the money. Now, Zomato will not take the complete money. They will take some part. The remaining will go to that restaurant. So, because you, the end user, and the other side who are delivering the product, there must be an intermediary between that. And nowadays, there are huge need of this kind of platform where the intermediary acts as a central server. As a result, you find that if your payment, if your any payment is not going to the anyone, any question, or mute yourself if you have no question. If I find any student, then you will be marked absent. Please check your mic. If you have any question, you can directly ask, or just simply I will mark you absent, because this meeting is recorded and the attendance will be generated instantly, automatically after the meeting, which I will share it to you also in Excel sheet. At what time which student has joined and who has not joined, they will be marked absent. So that is the thing. I don't have to call separate attendance in this meeting.
Sir,
If
sir.
file will yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
So why do programs like Windows Insider program open their early versions to a global audience? Like they don't only test the software within a select group of individuals, they test the software with the whole Windows user.
So
Can't
what
it
is the
have
question?
redundancies and drawbacks?
So what is the exact question?
I want to say that testing with a lot of people can have drawbacks. Can testing with a lot of people have drawbacks?
Yes, testing with
With a
if you
lot of
test with
people,
lots
like
of,
the global audience.
yes, testing with lots of people is not possible, first of all. That's why they test using some kind of limited users. And with the limited user only, you have to check the possible users who are actually the end product of that. If it is a banking based software, you have to take some testing feedback from all kinds of banking people who are using, dealing, the real customer, the real banking people who are the employee. And after that, you have to deliver the product. You can't check it globally, because like they said, like you have said, it is not possible that if software will be completely 100% correct before delivering the product, because it is not feasibly possible to check a software from all angles, from all kinds of error, which is currently working, but after some time it may get failed due to some reason. That is not possible. And you are saying Windows. So Windows earlier version they release, yes, they release.
So there is
And
a
if,
program called Windows Insider program which any user can sign up for.
yes, and based on that they get feedback also. And if they find that we need to change in some part of coding, design, graphical user interface, if they feel feedback is not okay, then they will definitely change. And if they feel that it is up to the standard, first of all, when they launch it, the insider program, most of the things are already okay, they feel, then only they give this. Now the part is that feedback part. The first feedback part, they do this. If they find feedback is not okay, they just change it. Otherwise they just launch finally into the market. Okay.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes, like I was, yeah, actually your question, I'm coming to that design testing part, I'm coming. So like one by one, I was saying the project management is an important part. You can't neglect it. Requirement analysis is an important part. We just think about the small points only. Requirement analysis is important part, but don't focus on too much on requirement. Adding more programmers is an important part, but you don't focus. It is a myth that always more programmers is required. You just remember this point. Predictable linear process, software development. It is not so always. So myths. Now see, there are many myths are there. These are some of the myths. Now about requirements and design. You can write the answer. If I give the question, I will give a normal question. You can write as many myths as possible. You don't have to write separately. Project management, requirements separately. You just write one myth and the reality. Next myth is that a clear set of initial goal is enough to start building software. It is a myth. To be practical, a clear goal you can see, that is okay, but to see and to implement is different thing, especially from software development point of view. So set of initial goal is enough, is not sufficient actually. So what is the reality then? Detailed requirements are necessary. That means with that you must have proper knowledge of technology, and that only you can do if you are a core software development, or you can say a full stack developer, or you are a core technology person, tech savvy person. For this part you can do the real life checking, that what software is suitable for this client work, what hardware we need, what are the framework we need, what is the database will be suited. You can see the long term goal actually, because you are already worked in that. You can design that. Okay, no, if you are doing PHP, then that database is, if you are doing ASP.NET, then SQL Server is enough, because we don't have to, let's say here database create command is there. You can create a table, you can change the part of a table, you can drop a table. Similarly for inserting data, you can insert, update. Now which data will you very much require? Now for a large transaction, if it get fails, then what happened? There must be a rollback. there must be a data backup. Like a Windows crash, then what happens? You find that most of the technical person they have created this data backup or some kind of backup system where it will roll back to the last stage. Maybe before crashing there was some stage where it was set up. It will go back to that stage, but that needs professional, or you may also do that. So that kind of changes, occurrence, prediction, that can be done by this special software development team, those who are working. One of the thing is this, the detailed requirement. So you must have a detailed requirement idea. Why? To avoid confusion, to rework. एक ही काम को दो बार करना अच्छा नहीं लगता, especially in software development. So it is one of the point. I'm not going into detail. You are understanding this point. Next myth is that software requirements are fixed. It is not so actually. Software requirements may not be fixed. It is keep changing. It may be flexible. It may change the module also. I mean, it may change the methodology also. It doesn't have to be the waterfall model. It can be, let's say, agile methodology. It can be some prototype. It can be Big Bang model. So software is flexible. You have to be very sure which software you are going to use. Today you are using some software. Tomorrow you may need the updated version. You have to change. You can't rely on this. It is a old thinking actually. Why I'm telling all these things? Because it is a part of your syllabus, and being a software developer, first hand idea of these things are required. Otherwise, you will realize that everything is done. At the end, you realize that I should have known about these things. That is the reason this topic is there. That's why it is software engineering. Along with that, labs are also there. When you have lab, maybe in some upcoming semester, we will see how to implement these things. So real life software is flexible. Requirements change हो सकता है, and it impacts on cost and design. Main thing is that it impacts on cost and design because of the flexibility of a software, and requirements change. So you can't predict anything earlier. You can't say this, it is fixed. Next myth is that you can future-proof software solutions. So this is a myth actually. It is impossible to create a solution that will remain perfect, future-proof for an indefinite period. I hope it's clear. There is no such thing which can say I can guarantee. That's why this we can warranty. Some problem can happen in the software in future. You can't say the permanently software is fixed. You can't say that. That is the point actually. Now quality and testing. What is the myth? You don't need early testing or testers. So what can be the solution then? Early involvement of testers and technical reviews are highly effective for finding defects, improving quality. So that means people sometimes think that after coding testing comes, but that is not so. Right now, in the methodology which you are using, you will find that everybody know everything. Even you are a 5 team and you have a flexible shift. Somebody is working in afternoon shift, somebody is evening shift. It may happen, or maybe you have fixed time. It is not possible that if testing people is not there in your office, you will wait for him when you will come and rectify the problem. Or coding people is there, or maybe some other kind of, so many things are going on in development work nowadays. It is expected that you must have minimum knowledge of everything. At least you have a coding personnel, you must have knowledge of designing part so that you can rectify some of the part from yourself. As a result, especially the designing, this testing part, testing must be go parallelly with the coding. No testing should be done after coding. This mentality should not be there. So early tester is required. Early testing is required. The more you have the knowledge of this early testing, maybe your chances of error will be less. The best way to, now you have a question, that's how to do that, how to do early testing. That is a good question. That we'll know very soon if you have practical class. But you have a theory class only, so you should stick to on right now theory topics. And if possible, I will show you in some lab if I get some time. Next myth: the best way to access software quality is by running. Wait, somebody is sending WhatsApp. Okay, if you have any question, you can directly ask. Don't WhatsApp right now because I can't see right now. So the best way to access software quality is by running the program. You can directly run the program and you can check if your program gets hanged, if your program gets generates some kind of error, if your program shows blue screen error, white screen error, any kind of unexpected output, you can easily get it. When you run the program, you will get the idea सॉफ्टवेयर का क्वालिटी कितना अच्छा है, खराब है कि एवरेज है या बहुत ही अच्छा है. यूजर यूज करके ही पता लगता है किसी भी चीज को कितना अच्छा है. तो टेक्निकल रिव्यूज एंड अदर क्वालिटी एश्योरेंस, रियलिटी क्या है? टेक्निकल रिव्यूज एंड अदर क्वालिटी एश्योरेंस applied through the development process, identifying issues, relying on. So that means your coding, testing, running the program, your methods, it all goes hand to hand, parallelly actually. So until you run the program, you can't get it. Sometimes by running the program also you can't get it. That is actually myth. It is trying to say actually running the program generates the most of the fault error, but that is not so actually sometimes. That is why it is a myth they are saying. You have to work on the other testing tools also, other programming method also. That is the reality. So next myth is about software. This is one of the most important point. Just coding. You can write this in exam, these 2 points. What is the most important myth and which is there in the software developer's mind? Software development is just coding. Can somebody explain this?
Sir, can you say it louder, please?
Yeah, software development is just coding. It is a myth. Why? See, reality is that coding is only. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Software development is just not about coding. Coding is only a part of complex software development. SDLC model, no matter which model you are following, coding is just a part which includes planning. I mean, apart from coding, in software development lifecycle, it includes planning, design, testing, deployment, and maintenance. So you have to maintain the software also. Even after the development and deploying it, you find too many errors. You have to maintain it. Initially, you have to plan it, design it. So it is just not about coding. It is a very big myth actually. Many people we find, I myself have seen, okay, they say that, okay, you are a good coder, then company is good. They have good coding people, they have this, but people don't see the link up thing with coding. Those or any organizations which are very excellent, you'll find they have a people from expertise in most of the field. It is not about just coding. Management planning, team management planning, deployment, maintenance. They have specific tools, and wherever you find just coding, you'll find that is mostly average company, small level company. Coding and coding. Either they are starting from scratch most of the things, or either they are not using the updated framework. And if you have to use the updated framework, that means you are currently a good level of company. Or maybe you are a freelance. If you are a freelance, then maybe you are doing this. You think the software development is just coding. Freelance, because they have less people and 1 or 2 people hardly are doing the complete work, unless you are a good or good freelancer. There you need to have expertise in most of the things. Next myth is that a software code is only deliverable. Just software को deliver करने से काम नहीं हो जाएगा. And people think the software delivery के बाद तो कुछ काम ही नहीं है, but that is wrong. After software delivery also you have to do many things. Customer feedback, customer जिसके लिए product बनाए वही बहुत repeatedly complain कर रहे हैं, तब तो problem हो जाएगा. So you have to focus on documentation. Documentation is a very important part. Neglecting document will not work. For example, we are teaching in class. I am not giving attendance. I am saying attendance तो बाद में हो जाएगा. I am not checking copy. Copy तो बाद में check हो जाएगा. Not taking exam. So it will directly impact the when it will impact at the end semester. At the end semester, maybe that time you realize, sir, ये तो उसका notes किधर गया, इसका experiment का list किधर गया, इसका what are the questions will come in the exam, we can't see. There are so many problems will there. So that's why whatever we are doing, not only for software development, every work there must be documentation. Documentation keeps a proof, evidence that, like in this class, we are video recording. We will take some generated attendance. In this way, your software must have a record. What coding you have done, now you have the documentation of that. That this is the part, these are the modules. Or maybe in documentation, your coding should not be mentioned. I mean the pure coding that should be hidden from the outside world. Like I said earlier, that keeps the security of the company and security of the data. Nowadays, data is, you can say, data is highly valuable thing. It's not time. Time is there, but data. If your data you can't secure in a proper way, if some kind of database attack happens, if data gets modified, if data gets encrypted, somebody enter into a database and it inject ransomware, any kind of virus, what will happen? Your जितना मेहनत किए थे पूरा साल का पूरा बेकार हो जाएगा. So that's why we have to keep proper documentation along with the software must be highly secure, high confidentiality, authenticity, integrity, no outsiders or any unnecessary people can't use that development part. How you can implement that? Using abstraction. Like I said, unnecessary things should be hidden from the outside world. Anyway, we discussed on this thing. Now let's go back to the main topic, principles. So with software development, we should not discuss much, that is over. Now the main principle, this question will come 10 marks in your exam. Principles of software engineering. What are the core principles जिसके ऊपर सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट खड़ा है, जिसके ऊपर सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट अपना मार्केट बना के रखा हुआ है, वो क्या है जिसकी वजह से कंपनियां चल रही है, जिसकी वजह से कंपनियां अपना मार्केटिंग बिजनेस बहुत अच्छी तरह से कर पा रहे हैं. व्हाट कैन बी दैट? व्हाट इज द कोर प्रिंसिपल्स? That is nothing but abstraction, encapsulation, modularity, structured programming, write once, execute everywhere, polymorphism, this kind of concept. Some of the students have already done this thing maybe earlier. Some of you may be new. Some of you may be studying this subject. So you will know this from time to time. Most important part is abstraction and encapsulation. So let's see the abstraction. What is abstraction? See, look with abstraction in Java. Now let's say a student has lots of detail, a student name, student ID, student's father's name, student's roll number, student's phone number. Based on that data we can create some method like get student, set student, placement student. Get student, we will just print the data of the student details like student name, student roll number is this, student class is this. Similarly in placement method we can see this is the departmental student, this is the placement record, this is the highest package got, or this is the average package got. Similarly, suppose there is a car class. Now car class object one, I am assigning values like BMW, manufacturing year this, color is this, shape is this, model number is this. Another object I am creating for that car is, let's say, what can I say, other car, Audi. Let's say Audi, the name of the car is Audi, brand name is this, manufacturing year is this. Separate objects are there for one single class. How we can maintain that? How we can keep the security of so many objects intact, secure, highly protected from outside world? That is possible through the concept of abstraction or encapsulation. Both are linked actually somehow. Encapsulation means data hiding. Abstraction is also means data hiding, but only showing the necessary thing to the relevant people, hiding the unnecessary thing from the irrelevant people. I hope you got the point. For example, you are a student, you can see only your part from Amazon. I am a teacher, I can see my part from Amazon. Both of our features in Amazon is different. what the options which you are getting and the options which I am getting, both are different. So encapsulation means, suppose there is a capsule. In capsule, whatever thing, have you ever opened a capsule? Never opened, I think. If you open, you find that two parts are there. ऊपर के पार्ट में कुछ रहता है, नीचे के पार्ट में कुछ रहता है. इन दैट कैप्सूल ऊपर के पार्ट में क्या रहता है? डेटा रहता है, डेटा मेथड्स रहता है. डेटा मीन्स इंटीजर, फ्लोट, स्ट्रिंग, boolean, char, double, float. Some can be 4 bytes, some can be 8 bytes, some can be more than 8 bytes, some can be less than 4 bytes, some can be 1 byte also. You can convert accordingly to number of bits. Okay, so those data. Now how those data are used in a method, because data कुछ नहीं होगा, data को कैसे यूज कर रहे हो? तो डेटा को किसी का रोल नंबर बनाने में लग रहा है, किसी का एड्रेस, किसी का पेरेंट्स नेम. ये डेटा कोई इंटीजर है, कोई स्ट्रिंग है, कोई ट्रू फॉल्स में आंसर देगा. ठीक है ना? डेटा कैसे बनाता है दिखाते हैं. सपोज एक क्रिएट कमांड में दिखाता हूँ. क्रिएट कमांड इन एसक्यूएल. This is a typical create command. Let's say this is the employee table. Am I audible?
Yes.
Anyone?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Suppose you are creating a create table. Here, forget about employee. Suppose if I put here student, what will happen? This is the syntax. Create table, table name. Table name, here they have written employees. I can write here student, I can write here student 1, I can write here let's say Amity University, I can write here AIITK, I can write here BC Honors Research. Table name you decide, whatever, it's a user friendly thing you can write. In some you can say database like SQL Server, automatically they create the coding. You just have to drag and drop, user friendly. But in some database, you have to write coding. So it's up to you which software the company is using, not up to you exactly. It is up to the company. If you are doing any project, you can decide which software you will use. But for company, they don't write code nowadays. Automatically, these things will be generated. Primary key, not null. So what I was saying, employee. Now employee का पहला field क्या है? Employee ID है. वो है integer format में. Employee ID क्या होता है? Integer में होता है. ID can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, कुछ भी. Yeah, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Anything can be employee ID, but that can be unique. So if I want a unique employee ID, if I want that should not be repeated, there should not be more than once you are using that primary key. I mean the employee ID. You should write space primary key. Either you write or through software you can click the option primary key. Automatically it will put here primary key. Now in a table there can be two primary key. It is possible. That can be known as composite primary key. Now next field will be first name. First name can be string. So in here you can write worker2. In some database it takes worker2. Maximum size is 50. So Somen Chakravarti. Just Chatterjee. बस किसी का बड़ा नेम है suppose. So up to 50. इससे ज़्यादा तो expectation नहीं है. इससे ज़्यादा नेम किसी का नहीं होगा. So 50 size we have given, but not null. Not null means कई बार क्या होता है, like I said, I'm saying in some of the forms, Facebook or any Google form which you are filling online, any kind of registration form, we sometimes keep the data, submit कर देते हैं. Suddenly it's generate an option, start. It is mandatory. It is mandatory that you can do using either, what can I say, scripting language, or you can directly integrate through database also. That means scripting language is on the one side, they are checking the security that your data should be in proper format and should not be null. Similarly, parallelly on the database part also, they are checking that data should not be null. That means two-side security. But these are the features as a software developer, as a database administrator, or you can say database developer. Actually, there is no sufficient, or there is no such database developer. If you're a software developer, you have to take care of this part also. Maybe backend developer, maybe full stack developer. But there are few people who are database administrator. They have a very depth of knowledge of database only. But for your case, you have to have must of minimum knowledge. Wait, somebody is calling me. Who is this? I will pick up the call later. Wait. Yeah. So this is 50. Again, last name will be again 50. Like in higher date. Now sometimes if you want the date format, you can write here date. Now, what is the use of that? Now let's say select query in SQL. Now let's say based on that, if I'm finding some data, see here, after creation of the table, after creation of the table, you have to insert command. Now why I'm telling all these things, you may be thinking, why sir is telling database? You have to know database. If you are a good software engineering person, you must have knowledge on database. Then only you can think the practical part, how to apply all these myths and conceptions, whatever is there. So you have to know this. So I think I have to show you the practical also. So this is how you create a table. Next comes insert. After creation of table, you have to insert the table. What is the value? Select insert into student values. क्या insert student का roll number 102. Student का नाम है सोमेन चक्रवर्ती. फर्स्ट नेम है सोमेन, लास्ट नेम है चक्रवर्ती. या लास्ट में और भी कुछ है, कुछ आईडी वाईडी होगा, ठीक है. या फिर यू कैन इंसर्ट इन दिस वे, इंसर्ट इनटू स्टूडेंट्स में क्या क्या फील्ड है, स्टूडेंट आईडी है, फर्स्ट नेम है, लास्ट नेम है, एज है. What are the values you are entering? 103 Charlie Brown 90. Either you can enter at a time or either you can enter one by one. First this value insert, now second value insert. Now after insertion of value you have to check. After creation of table create हो गया, table में कितना field होगा. Now if you want to change some field, you can use alter command. So first name की जगह ये हो जाएगा F name, last name की जगह हो जाएगा L name. Or if you want to add some extra data, you can alter that. You can change some data. I mean data field, not the data. Data field is different. This is data field. Data means employee ID में क्या data जा रहा है. Now insert होगा. Data अब table बन गया तो क्या है? Table में value insert होगा. अब क्या है? अब इन सब वैल्यू को देखना है कि सच में है कि टेबल सपोज 100 डेटा चला गया, 10 20 30 कितना डेटा तुम इंसर्ट किए कर सकते हो किए. नाउ आई हैव टू चेक दैट हाउ मेनी डेटा आर देयर. सपोज दिस इज द एग्जांपल. हियर इन अ कस्टमर टेबल देयर आर फील्ड्स लाइक कस्टमर आईडी, फर्स्ट नेम, लास्ट नेम, एज एंड कंट्री. योर क्लासेस अप टू व्हाट टाइम? एनीवन?
Sir, 240.
240. ठीक है, only 5 minutes. I will not take any much time. Only 5 minutes I will take. And क्या कुछ नहीं है, ठीक है, 5 minutes. ठीक है, wait. So this is the customer table. Till now, anybody has any doubt? If you have no doubt, you have
No,
to.
sir.
No, you don't have. Okay. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Okay. So this is the customer table. They have customer ID, first name, last name, age, country. So first row they have inserted customer ID 1, first name John, last name Doe, John Doe, 31 USA. Next is Robert Luna, David Robinson, John Reinhardt. So these are the so many rows they have inserted. Now either as a developer you want to see the data, whatever you have inserted, I want to check the format of data, is it right or wrong. So you can write here select star from customers. It will show you the complete result. Now if you want, I just only the first name and last name, complete table, but you want only the first name and last name. What you will do? Like select first name, comma last name from customers. It will show like this. Now if you want only first name, last name and age, then write comma age. Or if you want only the customer ID between 2 to 4, you just want their data, then there must be a condition like from customers where customer ID between this to this. So it will show only that rows. Suppose I want the students or some employee whose salary is more than 1 lakh. And I will write salary, where salary is, there must be a where clause. So accordingly, you might get that why I'm showing this, that how we can create a table, how we can insert data, how we can create conditional operator, we can apply conditions. So who is doing this? Developer is doing this. So it is your responsibility. Now, before going to the actual software model, prototype, HDL, whatever, you must have knowledge about the proper coding. That's why you find that those are project managers, senior level, although they are talking maybe non-technical things, but once they were a developer, maybe that's why they are sitting at the top post. Of course, they have good coding knowledge also, maybe, but initially you must have good knowledge of coding expertise, and that it is one of the point: abstraction, encapsulation, core principle.
Sir, your mic is muted.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I was saying that being a software developer, you yourself have to follow the paths which you want others to follow. You yourself have to follow the guidelines. Then only you can tell someone that they must follow the ethical rules. In the next class, I will teach that. What are the ethical rules of a developer? You have to be very much stick to deadlines. Then only your team will follow you. Okay. You have to follow the concepts
Okay, sir.
in individual components. Yeah. So I think it comes to the ending of the class, and regarding that, attendance will be automatically generated. I will share you the attendance sheet right now in your group. You can check there. Though whoever has joined, they can check the attendance.
Okay, sir.
Wait, let me
Okay,
stop
sir.
the recording.
तो क्लास तो
Let
खत्म
me
हो गया
stop.
ना 240 हो गया ना